So I've just had the huge pleasure of being a part of the North Kensington 50 years celebration, and I feel really emotional, and I wanted to share a little bit about that, I suppose, and to think out loud about it, because I got to volunteer there for a number of months while I was a law student, on top of doing a really intense legal course. I was commuting for an extra couple of days a week to the North Kensington Law Centre to have the privilege of working alongside them to support the local community. And I feel really grateful that I got to see what they get up to there, and to expand my knowledge into things like immigration a little bit, having worked mainly in housing before. And oh my goodness, did I want to stay. I just wanted to do that work really for the rest of my foreseeable time on earth, really. I started as a homelessness support worker, and I saw the impact that access to justice has for people in vulnerable positions, people whose livelihoods are hurt by poor benefit decisions, whose families are torn apart by immigration issues, and whose housing is at risk because of ridiculous decisions made by landlords who maybe don't understand what the laws mean, or maybe understand too well and try and abuse it. And I've seen the impact that access to justice has on the livelihoods of people affected by those issues, and I admire so deeply the work that North Kensington do. But I also am extra caught by it emotionally because I was a support worker in a small charity myself for 5 years, and everything in my gut and in my heart and in my brain wanted me to finish my legal training, that year of study I did, and to go straight back into that work as a lawyer, or at least training to be a lawyer. And yet here I am working for a housing association as a paralegal, which, do not get me wrong, I'm grateful for the job, right? And I'm learning so much while I'm there. I've got great colleagues. I'm grateful for that position, but there's a disconnect. And I want to talk about why that is, because the reason I'm not doing those things is because there is such a lack of support for people doing that job, people who are dealing with the coalface, who are working at the furnace of social injustice, with families whose lives are being torn apart, with the emotional burden of that, shouldering that responsibility and diving straight in to start fixing it. Now, some people can do that work for a really long time and almost seem to just not be affected, but that's not most people, and it's not been my experience as a support worker. And so the reason that I'm not practicing in that area of work right now, it's not because I'm weak, it's not because I don't want to, it's not because I'm not skilled enough, it's because there are systemic ways about the way that charity sector and that the legal aid sector runs that is really detrimental to its sustainability and to the good health of the people that are working on the front lines to do the magical works, the miraculous achievements for people. Those people on the front lines have a really tough time of it. And I'm not saying that because, I feel sorry for us because we're trying to save the world and we're getting hurt. I mean, you do work like that, you invest in humans, you're gonna have a difficult time of it at times, of course, but there are systemic things that could be fixed that would make it so much easier for people like me who have the passion, who have the heart for it, who have the skills, to be able to do that work long term without actually risking their mental health or the relationships that they have with their family, which frankly are the two reasons that I am not pursuing that right now and won't be for a while. And the things that, if they change, that would help are things like long-term funding, so that jobs are actually sustainable, so that there is enough money in the system to hire enough people to do the work, to have the correct technology to store stuff sensibly, to have, to not have the constant issues of we don't have enough phone lines, or we can't afford enough mobile phones, or we can't afford to get someone in to fix the IT because we've got a really old system that no one really understands. We don't have enough money to hire in people. And I'm not saying that North Ken necessarily has those exact problems, and not all charities have those exact problems, but almost every small charity I've seen has those problems. I even know one law centre that got broken into several times over the course of 2 years. If society invests properly in access to justice and enables law centres and charities who do this legal work to be sustainable and to be strong, the quality of the work that they're going to do is going to really increase. People are going to be able to stay in that job for longer. People are going to be able to invest in that for longer. Most people I know who have worked in frontline roles have to dip in and out of it. That's the reality. Everyone I know dips in and out of it or suffers the consequences to their emotional and mental well-being. So this isn't a speech to ask for pity or sympathy or I'm quite happy to make the investment, like the emotional investment in people, but if our government doesn't invest in sector properly, the professions working in it are going to get burnt out, and they already are. So access to justice really matters. If you can talk to your MP about it, that's great. If you can campaign about it, that's great. If you can chuck some money towards a law centre, that's great. If you can tweet your MP, great. Write to them, great. Support them on the next Access to Justice march. Do that. Bake some cakes, sell them. Whatever you can do to support them. But the most important thing is for those MPs to start making really good decisions about making sure that the access to justice sector of legal support is secure.